Every Indian election has a few ingredients: appeals to caste, appeals to religion, some high-octane campaigning, and finally, Pakistan. Talk about a strange obsession. On foreign policy, India has moved beyond Pakistan. There is more focus elsewhere, like on China and Southeast Asia. But in election season, Pakistan makes a comeback. Same case this time. It all started with this social media post by former Pakistan Minister Fawad Chaudhry. You may remember him and his time in office. He was a loose cannon in Imran Khan's cabinet. He gave a headline almost every day. This time, he's written about Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. He reposted one of his speeches and he wrote, "Rahul on fire." Sure enough, this has triggered a political showdown in India. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked about it. He said Pakistan wants Rahul Gandhi to be Prime Minister.
मजा ये है कि यहां कांग्रेस मर रही है और वहां पाकिस्तान रो रहा है। आपको पता चला होगा, कांग्रेस के लिए अब पाकिस्तानी नेता दुआ कर रहे हैं। शहजादे को प्रधानमंत्री बनाने के लिए पाकिस्तान उतावला है।
It's about political mileage. Pakistan and India are long-time rivals, so praise from a Pakistani leader is not ideal. Voters see it as praise from the enemy. So the Congress party is hit back. They say Fawad Chaudhry is under pressure. From whom? Apparently the Sharifs. Listen to this.
जो बयान आया है वो नवाज शरीफ उनके भाई की गवर्नमेंट के दबाव में आया है। प्रधानमंत्री के नवाज शरीफ के साथ बहुत अच्छे रिश्ते हैं और इसीलिए ये बयान आया है ताकि इस बयान को हमारे प्रधानमंत्री एक्सप्लॉइट करने की कोशिश कर सके।
I'm afraid none of it makes sense. Pakistan struggled to rig their own elections this year. So them influencing India is out of the question. But forget the rhetoric. This controversy does raise a bigger question. What role does Pakistan play in India's general elections? In the past, a big one. For many decades, Pakistan was India's biggest strategic threat. We fought 3 wars. We had a nuclear arms race, so politicians talked a lot about Pakistan, about how they would address this problematic neighbor. Let me show you the BJP's manifesto from 1999. This was right after the Kargil war, so the introduction is Pakistan heavy. The BJP promised to defend India and its armed forces. In 2004, the tone changed. The war was behind both countries. Peace was on the government's agenda, so the 2004 manifesto promised more dialogue with Pakistan. In 2014, Prime Minister Modi entered the picture. He said terror and talks cannot go hand in hand. In 2019, the BJP manifesto barely talked about Pakistan, just a reference to refugees from erstwhile East Pakistan, nothing more. But Pakistani terrorism remained a major issue. The Pulwama attacks had happened in February that year. So national security dominated conversations, which brings us to 2024. The BJP's manifesto mentions Pakistan just once. A promise to build infrastructure along the Indo-Pakistan border. That's it. It tells you how the conversation has changed. What about the Congress party? Same thing. In 2014, the Congress promised to improve relations and at the same time to tackle terrorism. But this time, there is barely a mention. The Congress party says engagement will depend on what Pakistan does. If they stop terrorism, things could improve. If not, do not expect much. So basically, both parties are saying the same thing. It's a sign of how India's policy has changed. Earlier, Pakistan was an existential question for India. Now it's barely a footnote. Has it also changed on the other side? Not from the looks of it. Pakistan's election campaign featured India a lot. Imran Khan talked about India's foreign policy. Nawaz Sharif promised a reset. So their India obsession is very much alive. And we saw an example of that today. Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir addressed cadets of their Air Force. He called India his arch rival. Listen to this.
The professionalism and brilliance of Pakistan Air Force has been clearly displayed in wars against our arch rival, and profoundly in February 2019 in a short but seminal engagement against the misplaced calculus of our rival. Silence of the world over Kashmir is deafening, but we will continue to extend moral, political and diplomatic support to the people of Kashmir till the day they are empowered to exercise their right of self-determination.
Sums up the situation. Indian political discourse has moved beyond Pakistan. This election won't change that. You may hear rhetoric about sympathizing with Pakistan or being supported by Islamabad, but the fact is most Indian parties have moved on. So it doesn't matter who wins in June. India's Pakistan policy is locked in.